friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking all about the brows. I feel like brows are a sensitive topic amongst women. Is that a thing, or am I just reading things wrong? I don't know. So before I get started, I just wanted to put in a little disclaimer that some of these things that all of these things that I'm going to be talking about today are just little helpful tips that I've found, not rules. Makeup is like art, and with any kind of art, there are no rules as to what you can and cannot create. So like I said, these are not rules. There's no right or wrong way to do your brows or to do your makeup in general. These are just some of the things that I have discovered along the way to find my brow success, if you will. I have come to a place where I really like the way my brows are shaped and the way that they look. And I encourage you guys to continue exploring new and different things with your brows so that you can find the best look for yourself. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Okay, so I just did my base off camera, so now
let's get talking about the brows.
First thing you want to do is you want to grab a spoolie, which is basically just a mascara wand without any mascara on it. So it's just this little fuzzy caterpillar, and you want to comb through your brows upwards, not directly up, but up in an angle towards the direction that your eyebrow hair is going. That way they're all unified and smooth and brushed out, and there are no hairs that are just clumped together, because that can really change the way your eyebrow shape looks. So real quick, before we start filling in the brows, someone somewhere figured out that there was a way to tell the perfect brow shape by measuring your face. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Grab a brush or anything, a pencil, anything skinny and straight, and you're going to basically measure your own brows. You're gonna put this along the outside of your nose, going straight up, and that's where your brow should start. So make sure it's not at an angle in or out, and it's just going directly straight up, and that's where your brow should start. Now, keeping that brush touching the outside of your nose, you're going to align it with looking straight, you're going to align it with the outside of your iris, which is the colorful part of your eye. So you're gonna align it with the outside of your iris, and that's gonna be where your arch should be. So you can put a tick mark there, so that if you're measuring or if you're plucking or creating that shape for yourself. So that's where your arch should be. And then you're gonna take it a little bit farther, keeping it along the outside of your nose, and you're gonna align it with the outer corner of your eye, and that's where your brow should end. So with those 3 points, you should be able to create your perfect brow, if that's the look that you're going for, which is the look that I'm going for today. Now, everyone likes a different product for their brows. I personally prefer powder, and I find that it works the best for me. I've tried gel, I've tried pomade, I've tried a pencil, I've tried basically everything that there is to try for a brow, and I just don't find that it's easiest for me to do. So powder is usually what works best, but I don't just like the powder dry. I typically dip my brush in water and then kind of swirl it around in my powder to create kind of a paste. Now, the rule of thumb for picking your perfect brow shade is if you have dark hair, pick 1 to 2 shades lighter than your hair color. And if you have light hair, you pick 1 to 2 shades darker than your hair color. Now, keep in mind that your brows were meant to be sisters and not twins. So don't be frustrated if at the end of this whole process, your eyebrows don't look identical. It's okay. So like I said, I use powder, and I actually don't have a brow powder, if you will. I always use eyeshadow, and I use a very cool toned color. This is just the Nudes Maybelline, and I use this shade right here, which is just a very cool toned dark shade. I wet my brush, and I'm just going to swirl that around in my shadow and pick some color up. And I like to start at the base of the brow, but not right at the beginning of the brow, because that'll create a really harsh line. I typically like to start a little bit in. That way the inside of the brow can look a little bit more natural and fluffy. That's just what I prefer. Now, I'm gonna be using brush strokes to, like I said, create a more natural look. I don't want just a straight line all the way across. So I'm gonna be kind of fluffing this all the way across. And it's really hard to talk and do my brows at the same time. So just watch. Now, with whatever is left on my brush, I'm gonna go back to the beginning and I'm gonna slowly start softening out that line and creating a little bit of definition down there without creating a harsh line. Now that we've got that baseline of our brow done, I'm gonna get a little bit more product on my brush, not my brow, but also my brow. I'm gonna get a little bit more product on my brow, and I'm gonna be starting to fill in the brow just a little bit using those same brush strokes and kind of filling it upwards. One thing that I do find helpful is to do brush strokes in the direction that your hair is already going. So for example, I brushed my hair kind of at an angle upward, so I'm gonna be brushing in that same angle as opposed to brushing it sideways with the hairs going this way, because it kind of contradicts the way that my brow hairs are naturally growing. So I'm gonna kind of brush that upwards and it fills in more of the shape. Now, when we're filling in the top, I like to start even farther out than we did the bottom. So I'm gonna start the top all the way out here. And I like to look down so I can almost get behind the hair. So now that we've got both the top and the bottom and the center filled in on the outer tail, we're gonna start filling in this inner corner. Using whatever is left on your brush, gently and very light-handedly, you're gonna be brushing through and kind of creating an ombre, if you will, from the inside to the outside. So the inside should be the lightest. Now, once we've gotten to the end of filling in our entire brow, if there are a couple spots that are a little bit fuzzy or if they're just not as clean as you like, you can always take a very flat brush and dip it in some concealer and go ahead and clean it up with that flat brush. If you do choose to clean up your eyebrow with a little bit of concealer, you can use your regular concealer to clean up the bottom, but choose a concealer that is the same shade or similar shade to your foundation to do the top, or you could even use your foundation to clean up the top. That way you don't have this bright color of a line right there at the top of your eyebrow. It looks really strange. So use a foundation colored concealer or even just a little bit of foundation to clean up the top if you choose to clean up the top. Obviously, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. And now lastly, I'm gonna grab my spoolie once more and I'm gonna brush through all the hairs and just make sure there aren't any spots that I missed, any bald spots that I didn't fill in. Another thing I totally failed to mention was the kind of brush that I'm using. I'm using an AOA Studio E116 brush, which is actually a liner brush, but I find that the skinny little liner brushes are the most helpful things to getting a really precise line on your brow. Now let's jump on over to the next brow. All right, I just quickly finished up the rest of my makeup, and when I say quickly, I mean it took me an hour. So not so quickly, but anyways. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned something. Remember, keep experimenting, keep finding new ways to change your brows or do something different with them. If you guys are interested in how I got this look right here, stay tuned. I will be posting a video on Instagram soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. Bye, kitties. Mwah.